We are set. Well, guys, everyone, welcome to Next Level by Association Virtual. You guys know the drill. This is a weekly broadcast that I do from wherever I'm at and to wherever you're at. But also, more importantly, we bring on people that have impacted my life, people that I have watched, followed, been friends with, had interaction with, and have always walked away with just some great experience in learning from and learning about. And today is no different. Today is Chance Brotherton, and Chance is the son of Tony Danette, who many of you guys know as a member of Next Level by Association. And I got to know Chance. Chance, how long? Maybe what, 3-4 years ago?
Uh, to be safe, I would say 4, but it could be 3.
Yeah, it might be 4. I think you're right. And I got to know your mom first, and your mom told me all about you and was bragging about you like moms do. And then we got a chance to have a conversation. And I remember the first time I saw you was I was on Zoom with your mom, and you walked by at the back. She goes, "That's my son, Chance." And I said, "Hi." And that was the first time I ever got to see you. And then we've had a couple of interactions since then. And then, of course, we've had a lot of interaction on Facebook and interacting. And I got to tell you, the first time I met or we had a conversation where we were actually just you and I conversing, I remember you telling me your passion was shooting guns. And,
Absolutely.
and I mean, that just stuck out of my mind that was the big thing. What is it about firearms that really lights you up?
It's a hard thing to describe. I believe the base of it came from when I was 3 years old. My uncle to his land and had helped me shoot my first firearm, which was a 22 long rifle with a 6-time scope. Held it up for me and let me shoot it, and that memory has stayed in my mind forever. I'll never forget. I remember every single part of about 5 minutes of shooting that firearm. And that's my only theory, is that it stuck with me for some reason. And it developed a extreme passion and love for firearms, but it grew along with it and weaponry in general is a passion of mine, but firearms take precedence overall. It's just simple mechanics that lead to very interesting things. And it's such a wide variety of firearms and designs and what they do and what they can do. I don't know. It's a very interesting thing. I compare it to cars.
Okay. So some people just love cars and they love everything about the cars. And
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, that's a great correlation. But then you took that. We talked about that. You talked about your passion about it, what you love about it, all that, and then you enlist in the Army. And I remember when I saw that you enlisted, I was like, good for him, man. That is great. What a great way to utilize some of his passion. But you've been in the Army now. You just got out of boot camp.
Correct. Yes, I got out of boot camp. Oh, maybe just a little over 2 months ago.
2 months ago. Okay. What has been the biggest learning for you since you've been in the military? And one, Flo says it, and you hear me. I say it every time I see you online. Basically, thank you for your service, and we really mean that. We really appreciate the opportunity that we have to thank you for that for your service. So thank you.
Absolutely.
So what's the greatest learning you've experienced?
As for the learning curve,
Yeah.
Well, that a lot of people don't realize, if you live, I would say, kind of a normal life, and you have kind of, I would say, normal experiences throughout your life, you'd be very surprised on how much regular life actually prepares you for the military. The military is very simple. It's a very simple process, especially boot camp. It's a very simple thing, and it's just the smallest details throughout your normal life make a big impact of the military. So once you'll never know until you join. And once you're in, you'll find yourself doing a mundane task or thinking about something you realize like, man, I was doing this all day when I was a kid or whatever, what have you.
Right.
But the biggest learning curve was really learning about myself. Honestly, that's been the biggest change and the biggest thing I had a hard time wrapping my mind around is what I could accomplish that I never thought I could before. And it's been a very interesting process to battle my own mind of I was so sure and then learning and experiencing that it wasn't true, that I could always do more than I thought. I could push myself. I was more intelligent than I thought. It really it challenged my perspective about myself. And that's been honestly the biggest learning curve is learning there's more to me than I thought.
Wow.
Really.
Wow. That's a powerful learning. I mean, there's people that are 50, 60 years old that still don't know that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty powerful. Who has been the biggest influence on your life in the in your formative year? I mean, growing up, obviously your mom and dad were big influence, but outside of your mom and dad, because mom and dad are always, top rank in there, but how did people influence you, and who are the people that influence you the most? And maybe good or bad. I mean, we all had bad influences too. So
Sure. That's very interesting. Well, the first person that always comes to mind immediately is one of my grandfathers, Dave. He was the predominant figure in my life growing up because my father was always overseas somewhere, always deployed or what have you. And thankfully, I never felt without a father. I always felt my father's love, thankfully. But since he was always gone, there was really no main male figure besides Dave.
Wow.
And he, ex-military as well, ex-law enforcement. He's worked on the government sector. If I'm not mistaken, the entire time I've ever known him. He really raised me to be the man that I am. He's the one that all the way from when I was a toddler to putting me in the shower for the first time and making me, wash, and he taught me how to shave. He's the first person to notice that I was blind and needed glasses. He pushed me a lot as a kid as well to do things that I just didn't want to do as a kid. There's more things that I could ever tell that he did for me or helped me with. He taught me how to drive. He was just a predominant male figure in my life. He taught me so many things, and he is a very classic man.
Wow.
He really instilled in me the values of being a man.
Wow.
And I always have to say Dave. That is without a doubt.
That's awesome. Wow. Have you ever had a chance to sit down and tell him that?
Well, being the classic man that he is, and kind of the classic man that I've turned into, there's not many moments of deep, in-depth conversation between father figures, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But a few times I've said, I've made little comments here and there of, you raised me to be the man that I am, things like that, or comments similar. I won't get too deep into it because there's more people, but I've made comments to him and I've thanked him for what he's done for me. And being a classic man, he's like, yep,
Yep.
you know, real, real, real simple. I usually get a good handshake.
Yeah, there you
That's a good thing. But I know it's good because it's a good handshake, you know?
go.
That's how I
Yeah.
know.
I tell you, I don't care how rough on the outside people are. We love to be appreciated, and we love it when somebody that we've poured into even says thank you or even says anything. It lights us up. So I know that on the outside, he's maybe just really exterior, but I know on the inside he's loving it. So I'm sure he absolutely appreciates that so much. Now let's talk about your mom because I've gotten to know your mom a lot, and I love your mom. Your mom. I just love her. And I love the relationship you guys have because I know how proud she is of you. And I know I know when you guys are together, it just looks good. I mean, you and your mom look good on you together. You guys just do I think it's really a great relationship. And I know it doesn't always feel that way. So how is it? I mean, you're how old now?
23.
So 23, and my kids are 31 and 29 and 27, and I know that there's those good times and there's those bad times, and I know there's times when you guys are really close, and then there's times where you're not so close. Tell me one of the favorite memories you have about growing up. Um, yeah, just share that.
Uh, huh. That's a good question.
Hmm.
My mother will kill me for this, but funny enough is have something stand out like that. We've talked about this before. I have many memories of my mother that we've talked about that apparently don't exist, and I have so many memories from his brain she was never there for, but apparently she was, and she has proof that she was there in so many memories.
Wow.
Um, there's I've never been able to explain it, but I don't know. I think it's hard to remember anything from a kid when I was younger.
Hmm.
There's 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 so much happening when I was a kid, but thankfully, as I've gotten older, I now have proper memories of her, and we have a lot of fun.
Hmm.
So my memory goes back to a bit more, only maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Uh, me and my mom have kind of accidentally developed this a thing that we do now, and it was our it was our expensive Sundays, and just for really no reason at all, we would just go out, and it was always on a Sunday for some reason, and we always ended up doing a bunch of errands and what have you on a Sunday. And since I was doing nothing, we'd go out and do our own thing. So
Okay.
we'll run around. If we had to do grocery shopping, we'll do that. If there was clothes needed bought, what have you. Usually, and the main memory that causes the first kind of time we talked about it, I believe we both went and bought new phones as well. We upgraded our phones. We got cases for them, and what have you. And then I believe we went to Target as well and had to get some stuff. It ended up being an expensive day, as you can imagine. And
Yeah, phones.
it was just we were laughing about it, and I believe is when we went to Target. Me and her went and got a soft pretzel with cheese, and that has become a staple to me and my mom now. Is a soft pretzel with cheese. Every time we go have one of our Sunday fun days or what have you, it's we have to get a pretzel with cheese, and most likely we're going to end up spending a lot of money. But it's one of those things that as far as I can remember, me and her never really had when I was younger. There was always so much going on.
Yeah.
Me and her never had our thing. And so it's been really, really, really nice to have me and my mom finally having a thing.
Yeah.
So soft pretzel with cheese, Huntington Beach, California.
Yeah.
Beautiful day.
Yeah.
That's probably my fondest memory right now.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So, you know, if I were to ask your mom, and maybe I will at some point, if I were to ask your mom, what is the thing that she is most in love with about you, what do you think it would be?
You know, I've heard her say this too. I know I've heard her talk about this. I think what did she say? I think it's my compassion
Mm,
or something like that. I know I've heard her talk about this. It's something to do with my personality and how caring I am, or
mm,
it's something like that. She
okay.
might have changed it, but I swear I've heard her talk about this. About it's either my compassion, my caring, or something like that.
And what do you say about your mom? What's the thing that really stands out about her to you?
Honestly, I mean, I could go on about, you know, the love she has for me and whatnot, you know. But honestly, it's her. It's the business side of her that is my favorite thing. Honestly, it's her drive, her willingness to put in the work.
Hmm.
You know, she has a very big ambitions, but knows how to contain the ambition and not try to reach for more than she can grab. You know,
Hmm.
uh, it's that business sense. She's always been she's meant to be an entrepreneur,
Yeah. Yeah.
and she's that side of her. This is the word I'm looking for, but I can't remember right now. But
Yeah.
that side really it's very motivating for me
Yeah.
to see someone be able to go through all their life to do what they have, to finally come out and be so successful in doing what they decided they wanted to do.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's That's a very motivating force.
Yeah.
That's
Awesome.
that's my favorite thing. I try to study as much as I can from it,
Yeah.
so that one day I too can implement that into my own life and
Hmm.
hopefully be more successful than I hope I will be.
Yeah. Well, you have a great role model in her for sure.
Absolutely.
She's a great woman, and she's a great entrepreneur. So, hey Tony, are you there? Why don't you bring yourself on real quick? I don't know where you're at, if you're in the house, or uh you might. she, Tony, are you there? Oh, I can't. From Tony, I'm here. Bring yourself on camera.
Oh, okay. I'm a hot mess.
That's okay. There's Chance's
Hello,
mom.
mother.
Hi. Hi, kiddo.
So, what do you think? What he had to say about you, and what he thought you would say about him? And I saw that you typed in he has a big heart.
He has the biggest heart. He always has. He
Hmm.
always has. Has a heart of gold. Yep.
When
But
did
it's
you
very
first, when did
sweet.
you first see that heart of gold?
Oh, young.
Hmm.
Young. Yeah. Very tender, very soft, very compassionate, with animals, with young children,
Hmm.
with the less fortunate. Even in school, he always found the children that were being bullied or had special needs and took them under his wing and looked after them,
Wow.
and made sure he was going to be their friend if they
Hmm.
didn't have one, or stand up for them, looking after the other little kids in the neighborhood, or checking on the neighbors' dogs and making sure they were okay. I mean, he was just always so caring in that sense.
Hmm.
So Yeah, just
That's
just
a
sweetie.
great trait to have.
Mhm.
And for it to be demonstrated so young is really, really cool. How do you think that that serves you having a big heart now, Chance, in your life at this age? How do you think that's serving you?
Well, it's it's a thing to have nowadays, unfortunately, with the state of everything and society and whatnot. It's um I a lot of people have lost their ways, but
Mhm.
I I don't really let it affect me. You
Mhm.
know, it's just it can it can backfire quite a bit nowadays. So I have to be more cautious with the compassion that I give, but it's still what it's led me to see is that when something good does come out of it, when I can help somebody or I can do something right, it it gives such a stronger feedback than it used to. It's
Mhm.
I mean, if it's like little things like if I help an old woman put groceries in her car or whatever, like simple, really simple things.
Yeah.
It the thanks that I receive and the kind of words that I receive is so it it really gives me joy to see other people get joy out of it
Hmm.
because so many people are lacking compassion and kindness in their life. It's
Yeah.
I I, I love seeing people react positively to it and see the actual the appreciation in their
Yeah.
eyes and their words. It's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think that's one of the most powerful things when we do something, that light that we get back from them where they're just showing appreciation or they're genuinely surprised is one of those cool things. Like, sometimes when I'll walk up to a military or I'll walk up to a police officer and I'll say, sir, I just want to tell you I appreciate your service. And you'll see cops, they're like standoffish when you're first walking up, and
Yeah.
you say, excuse me, and they go, yeah. And you go, I just want you to know that I really appreciate who you are and your service. And then they're like, oh, well, thank you so much. It's that
Yeah.
that look of relief, but look of appreciation. I really appreciate that about anybody who's showing compassion. And I think you're right. There's a lot of people right now that need more compassion than ever. And so the
Mhm.
more people that we have like yourself that are showing that compassion, that really does make the difference in some people's lives that we'll never even know. We'll never know that it changed the direction of their life in that instant forever. And so
Absolutely.
I think that's great. So, Mom, what did you think about all the things he was saying about Mom?
I thought it was wonderful, of course.
Did you know that those were the things he appreciates about you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Chance and I are pretty open,
Yeah,
um, and talk a lot.
yeah,
And we're
Yeah.
pretty open with our feelings in both ways, good and bad.
yeah,
Sometimes I have to pull the bad out of him to make sure he can say the things he's not happy about. And
yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
But we try to be as straightforward and honest and have, even since he was little bitty,
Hmm.
I made sure that he was always able to talk very openly about everything, no matter what,
Yeah, yeah.
no
So
matter what.
going forward, Chance, what's on the I mean, now you're back at home for how long?
2 weeks,
And
and I'm
then you go where?
uh, back to base.
Okay, so back there. Okay,
Yeah.
To finish
and
his training, he's at AIT now.
gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm about a little over halfway done with my
Okay.
HBL holiday block leave. So in roughly a week, maybe a little bit less, I'll go back.
And then what's your daily routine where you're at now? Or
Uh,
where you'll be going back to?
wake up, about on a good day, 4 o'clock in the morning. Quickly get ready. No showering in the morning. That's a no-go. There's absolutely no time for it. But basic stuff, quickly get up, latrine, brush teeth, shave, and then depending on the day, usually PT uniform, it's extremely cold. So full winter PTs, bundled up in nothing but silk, essentially, and go outside, stand out there in the cold, wait for some numbers to be called, and then we break off for PT, conduct PT, usually roughly about an hour, depending. Usually we'll go back inside, change into OCPs, head to chow. From chow, we'll usually on the day we'll bring all of our training gear with us to chow, and then from chow we'll march to our designated area to be picked up by trans. Hop on trans, go out to the training pad, and then at the training pad we're there 8 hours maybe, just training on all the things we train on and what have you. For the most, it's usually just constant training. Around noonish, break for chow, and then we usually finish up maybe 16:30, roughly. So 4:30, around there. Go back, get back on trans, head back to our company. Usually right away, we'll go put our training gear up and line up straight away to go to chow again. And go to chow, eat, come back, and then we usually get personal time at that point and go to our rooms, do laundry, read, study, what have you, and then go to sleep, do it again. That is a day in the life.
Yeah.
We have days where you'll have something different happening, something more interesting, or other things that have to be accomplished for that day, but average day, that's about it.
So, Mom, did you ever think you'd see your son getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning?
Yes and no.
Yes. If he was going hunting or something, I can imagine he got up early.
I mean, I always knew he was headed for the military. So I knew at some point, if that was going to happen, he was going to have to be getting up at, 3, 4. I mean, I knew it was coming. But at home, I didn't know if it was ever going to be possible.
Gotcha.
And so there was a lot of fear about, was he going to be successful at going to boot camp? Was he going to be able to get through it? Oh my gosh, did I raise this kid well enough to be actually get through this, hellish training and what have you? And I'm going, oh gosh. But I knew how passionate he was for it. I knew this is what he was destined for. I knew that this was it.
Yeah.
This was his only plan. So I knew he was going to have to do it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm going, oh gosh, is he going to make it? What's going on?
Yeah,
I was not prepared for the anxiety that I had while he was at basic training. I was like, oh, like, why am I freaking out about this? So,
what are your thoughts, Chance?
What's that?
What were you saying?
That this was literally the only plan. I never set myself up to do anything else.
Yeah.
There was nothing. I never set myself up to have any other meaningful career. I never studied for really anything else. I never did any extracurricular activities that would have started me on any other kind of career field. There was things I was passionate about and things I enjoyed where I could have tried to put more into that to start a career. But the only thing I was fully preparing myself for was the military. That was the plan.
You went all in.
No
Literally.
plan B, huh?
Yeah.
Well, Tony, to address something you said, I hope I did something well enough, raised him well enough. Donna on Facebook says, moms never stop worrying about their kiddos. But she also said before that, thank you for your service, Chance. And then Mama You did a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Amen.
That
Yeah.
means a lot.
That's very cool.
Amen.
So, as we wrap this up, anybody have a question, feel free to type it in. You'll probably get questions afterwards from the people that watch the recording. But if anyone wants to hop on and say hi, you're more than welcome to. Flo always has a question and she can't raise her hand because I make her a co-host. So, Flo, go ahead and bring yourself on. I know you always have a question.
There's Flo.
Hi, guys. Thanks for sharing, Chance and Tony. It's great seeing a mother-son moment with military mamas. um, it's really not really a question, but I'm just thankful and proud that you guys are going through all of this. I'm also a military mom. My son was in the Marines. So just a lot going for you, thinking about you guys, and just Godspeed to you, Chance.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Flo. You feel, you know what I've been through. You've done it and you're doing it. So
Just hang in there, Mom. Just no news is good news. That's
exactly.
all.
Yeah, that's very true.
Joe Ingram says kindness is lacking in society today.
Absolutely.
Piggybacking on you. And then Donna has a question and says, what can we do to help our servicemen and women, especially at this time of year?
I think there's a lot, and this is what I found out going through just the time period where no news is good news. And I personally, fortunately, found a Facebook group of other mothers and spouses of soldiers that were going through the same thing, the same training. And the admins of this group, they've been doing this for a long time. And through that, I found out that there's a lot of soldiers in training that have no parents, that don't have the support system at home. And there are groups of women and, whatever, that they ask other people, can you write X amount of letters per month? And we'll get them to soldiers that don't have any correspondence, nothing coming in for words of encouragement. Yeah. Care packages are great at certain points of training, because sometimes they can't have anything unless drill sergeant says they can have it. But just little words of encouragement, little letters, finding out who those people are and just saying, thank you, like, keep it up. You're doing a great job. They just need to hear encouraging words and just say simply say thank you. And you can do it. Just simple as that. Chance, actually, his best friend is also in training in another state, and he's having a rough time right now. And fortunately, he's in a position where we can send him care packages without him getting in trouble. And we all know of somebody that's in the service. Find out who they are, get their mailing address. Anything from the outside world, from the normal world, is, I'm sure, very much appreciated. Am I wrong, Chance? Am I right?
You're right.
Okay.
I would say it goes on just the training stage as well in the service. Yeah. It really communicate. That's a big thing. Communicate. It's it does. You don't have to communicate about what's going on in our lives. You don't have to communicate about the things we're doing, just because it's most likely you there's no way you'd be able to really understand what we're talking about. It just the communication of just small things. If like most of us would, since we have families and whatnot, it's just the small things, knowing what's going on back home, being updated on certain things. Like, something I really liked is my family would send me, like, my mother would send me updates on the election, I think it was at the time. Small things like that, just being able to learn stuff, what's going on in the outside world.
Memes are also really good. Just humor. I sent him pages of memes about Pence's fly. just printed off and stuffed it in an envelope and mailed it off. Anything that's just funny, that's not the normal whatever stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a great story. My brother was in the Navy. He was on a ship out in the middle of nowhere. And he's like, I keep seeing all this stuff about Girl Scout cookies. Can you send me some Girl Scout cookies? And I was like, sure. Like, which ones you want? You whatever. He goes, I don't care. We all want Girl Scout cookies. So I did a thing on Facebook. Everybody started shipping him Girl Scout cookies to the ship. We're talking probably 150, 200 boxes of Girl Scout cookies. He's like, okay, stop with the Girl Scout cookies. But he was able to give them out to everybody on his ship and in his department. And they were just like, holy cow.
That's something that if you have the means to, it is, whether it's somebody in training or, just active duty, whatever. If you have the means to, small gifts like that will not go a long way.
Skittles?
No. Quick advice for anybody, if you have a child or somebody in going through training, going through basic, and they tell you they love something in there, especially in my case, in MREs, there was a certain MRE that had sour Skittles in there, a pack of sour Skittles. In basic, that is gold. It's a rare thing to get. When you get it, it's like one of the few things you get that have sugar in it. It's fantastic. Well, I came home and I was greeted with like 100 packs of sour Skittles, huge bags, not that many, but so many sour Skittles. I'm like, I don't actually want these that much. Like, in basic, it's nice, but and that's something our trainees got to learn as well, is that they gotta know how to express themselves and say, hey, in training, this is wonderful. I don't need it when we're out.
How funny.
But no, communication, that's a big thing to help our service members communicate. I knew many people when I was training that didn't have people to write to, or they had a family, but they didn't want to talk to the family. It's some of them really just didn't really in the service for any kind of honor or anything, but there was a few that were as well. And I think none of us talk about too much, but if you can get veterans to talk to other service members as well, being able to talk to other brothers or sisters, that's a really big thing that goes a long way, that I don't think nobody talks about enough. Like for me, anytime any senior enlisted soldier talks to me, or veteran from any era, just being able to talk to a veteran, it's always an honor to be able to discuss with them, and the knowledge and wisdom they have. They understand more than most civilians will get. And just like if it's two male service members, kind of like the father-son thing, not many words are said, but it's there. You can just, with very few words, you can make a really strong message. I was gonna mention earlier with compassion in life and whatnot. On my flight here, it's a very, very short flight, hour and a half flight. We got waters and that's about it. Quick flight. The stewardess, maybe 45 minutes into the flight. Actually, no, probably only about 30 minutes left. Actually, it was towards the end. She started walking around with a box, and there's about 90 of us in the flight. I saw her coming down, and maybe 50-year-old woman, real, looked like real nice lady. She's walking around with a box, almost like a little fishing lure box. And I'm looking, I'm like, what is that she's doing? I've never seen that before. There's not snacks in there. I keep looking, and she gets closer, and I see the lid is opened, and there's words and it says, something like, need a thought or something like that. And she got about a row or two ahead of me, and she was asking everybody, would you like a kind thought for the day? And I was like, what is this she's doing? And she comes to me, I read the box, and I finally was able to fully read it. And she's like, would you say, do you need some kind thoughts today? And I was like, yes, ma'am, I'd love one. And she had strips of paper. I know I got it right here. This is it. She had
He takes off to get it.
right there these little strips of paper.
Wow.
And they're handwritten. One says, life doesn't allow for us to go back and fast, but it does allow for us to live each day better than our last.
Wow.
And she's handwritten. I
Cool.
have no idea how many she's handwritten of these positive quotes and thoughts, and just asking passengers if they need one and giving them out. And that left a huge impact on me. I was blown away by that. That thoughtfulness and kindness. That it was, I can see a few passengers as well.
That is
Smiling, you're just there. There was a lot of smiles on that plane.
That is
after
cool.
that.
What airline was that?
West.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
that's pretty powerful. One, Donna asks, where can we get the addresses? And she says, this is being really helpful. Thank you. She also said, oh my God, that's so cool about the story you just told. And so simple. So let's wrap it up with, how can people find some of those military people that don't have family? How would they go about getting addresses?
I have
Or joining a group like you talked about. Dan.
yeah, I can get a link to the group where they're trying to find volunteers to write these letters.
Okay.
And I can send it to you that we can post on
Awesome.
the
Post it in the Facebook group.
Sure.
And because that's where this will be as well, so people can do that. Guys, I just want to tell you, thank you so much for hopping on, Chance. I know it was last minute, but I'm so glad it worked out and we're able to make that happen. And thank you again for your service. And I have really appreciated getting to know you over the last 4 years or so, and I've just really come to appreciate the man that you are. And I'm excited about your future, and I can't wait to see you again and shake your hand in person, and look forward to that. Tony, you done good, honey.
Thank you,
done
sir.
good. And I love you so much and appreciate you. And I'm so glad that you guys get to spend some holiday time together. Guys, don't forget the military. Don't forget those people that are serving. We have an opportunity to just say thank you. We need to take it every chance we get. And that being said, guys, get out there, make it a great week, and enjoy your next level. Thanks again, Chance. Thanks, Tony.
absolutely. Thank you.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Thank you.
Bye.